Hey guys, Jared Codling here with new hack of the week, and today I'm going to be talking about search hacks and how to search like a hacker searches. And this is literally how a lot of hackers search to find databases of passwords and protected stuff. But we use this in a growth hacking context, and it's really going to depend what your project is, what your business is, just how you'd use this. But it's something that I actually use a lot across my various businesses, and hopefully it's a skill that you can apply in your business and use that to get some leads or do some really creative searches. And so it is a little bit technical, but I'm really going to break it down, make it super simple. So what we're covering, firstly, Boolean strings, and I'll get into what that is in a second. Google searches to find great leads, LinkedIn advanced keyword searching, and then Twitter search operators and how I use those. So firstly, if you haven't heard of it before, a Boolean string is basically just search operators, which they're using these advanced operators such as and, or, in URL, and so forth. And I'm going to show you some examples now, just to break that down, and then I'm going to show you the benefit of those and how we use them. So how do I use it to growth hack? So I use it to find data that I can use, and this could be all kinds of data, but I'm really a lot of the time searching for leads, and there's a few different contexts that can be. I could be trying to find somebody else's list that they've just been silly and left it on the internet, and I'm just going to grab somebody else's lead list so I can cold email that or do what I like with it, or I'm going to use it to find opportunities. So if I'm targeting local businesses or something like that, I'm really just looking for opportunities. And how to better use platforms and access their data as well. So some of this stuff will apply to Google, but then other bits will apply to, say, LinkedIn, Twitter. And then what you'll find is if you're using another platform, quite often it does actually accept advanced searches, and nobody really uses them. They normally just use the filters that are laying around and the check boxes for location and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to be able to get a lot further if you're actually using more advanced searches. But, is this hack really that powerful? Much more than you'd think. So let me jump right in and show you some examples, and it's going to make a lot more sense. But it does depend what you do this for. And, I know there's a lot of guys in the group who, every now and then you sell websites, digital marketing, that kind of stuff. I'm going to show you directly how that applies. And then, if you've got a startup and you're looking for investors or media attention, or even just to get early adopters and users, it's also really powerful for that, surprisingly enough. So, let's jump into the basics of the Google ones that I use. So a lot of you know this one where it's, you can put a search term inside some quotation marks and it groups it together, and it just makes sure that it's going to take into account the whole phrase together. It's not going to put the words in the wrong order or anything like that. It's going to get you the exact search. So a lot of people know that one already. But then the second one is, removing pieces. So if I wanted to find out about Manchester, the city, and Google around there, I'd put Manchester, then minus United, because they're going to have a lot of search results coming up for the soccer team. And if I'm not interested in that, I'm removing it. Here's where it gets a little bit advanced. I can go in URL PDF. So I'm only finding my search results that have PDF in the URL. I could also put like in url.com.au or .co.uk, and it's actually going to take it so that I'm only searching for websites that are in that geolocation for that GLTD. I could just search a site, so I can actually go, I only want to search for articles that are on TechCrunch, and so they've actually got to be on the TechCrunch domain. So I do a site search, and so this can be really powerful if you're trying to look for a competitor's content or something like that. You just do a site search and just go directly through. So you'll combine these. The beautiful thing here is you can combine a lot of these together, and I'll show you how to do that. In title. So I might go in title blah, and then I put the rest of the search, and it will only show me web pages from Google that have in the actual title of that page have the word blah. I can do location. So it's not actually LOC, that no longer works. It's you've got to say location, you've got to actually write the whole thing now. But I could search for pubs that are at Sydney. That's where their location is. File type, much the same as in URL, how I was using that before, but file type is really powerful, especially if we're looking for, say, CSVs that somebody's uploaded to their site. They might have done it to share it with a coworker, but accidentally put all their leads on the internet. So I'm going to show you how to find that kind of stuff. And as I said, this is quite hacky. Hackers actually use this technique to find when somebody has uploaded sensitive information. and they have various operators that they go and put together to just go and find all kinds of data. We're not going to be using it for that. We're going to be using it for growth hacking, but as you can see, this can be really powerful because Google basically, unless you tell it not to, it crawls the whole site. And you might think, oh, but it's not linked to from anywhere. How would Google find it? Well, if somebody that's choosing Chrome or an Android phone actually goes to that page, whether it's a CSV or something like that, it doesn't need to be linked to from anywhere else. Google knows about it. They'll index it. That's what makes it so powerful. There's a lot of stuff out there that people just don't even know they've got listed on Google. So there's much more, and I'm going to link to some articles that have got full details of search operators, but these are just the main ones that I use. So for web design agencies, so I know there's a bunch of guys who sell websites inside the group, and this can work pretty well for finding digital marketing clients, but it's just super relevant for it's so relevant for web agencies. So when we want a client as a web agency, we've got the following criteria generally. We're going after an industry. You don't have to, but you'll normally pick one. You'll go after a location, and it'd be great if we knew that their website was getting a little bit old as well. So what you do is, here's an example search string. So in url.co.uk, I'll just punch in this whole string into Google. That's only going to show websites that are in the UK. Location, London. So we're getting even more specific. You might think that's a little bit redundant. It might be, but there's no harm in stacking this stuff together. Then this is the interesting part. Copyright 2015. It means their website hasn't been updated in a little while. So the website's kind of old, but it's not like too old that they're fully neglected. If they haven't updated their website since 2009, odds are they're either out of business or they just really do not see the value in a website. So that's obviously not going to be a good lead. And then, why not go after plumbers? So just an example, punch this one in, and here we go. It's just got 9 search results because I was probably too specific putting location plus.co.uk. But if we do go in, you'll see that it's copyright 2015. When I hit futureplumbing.com.co.uk, website's pretty average. If you're selling websites to plumbers, this is probably not a bad one to go after. And they obviously do invest a little bit because, as you can see, all the SEO terms down here. So sometimes we can even find a footprint. Now, what I mean by footprint is, if we just go back, you can see just here it says ipromote.eu. So a lot of the time, a website will say, website designed by ABC. So that's what I would call a footprint. And so with a footprint, it's actually giving us another level where we can go. For example, we can search for all of their clients if you wanted to just go and poach them all. So I'm just searching for ipromote.eu, and I've got 9,000 results. That doesn't mean 9,000 websites. It means 9,000 web pages. But you can see they've got a bunch of plumbing installers and stuff like that. This Danny Trundle, Saglio, Geargas. So what I would do, if I landed one of the clients, I'd basically call the rest and go, hey, noticed your website was made by XYZ, ipromote.eu. They also built one for one of our other customers, ABC. But it turns out that, iPromote didn't make the websites mobile friendly, and Google are penalizing them right now, which is, true. And 2015, a lot of them aren't mobile friendly. And we'll just say, we're currently building them a new website, thought you might need one too. Suddenly you got a reason to talk to them, and you can just you'll find that it's common problems a lot of the time across this. This works with if you've got an SEO agency or something like that, or a digital agency. So SEO agencies are actually really... they'll quite often backlink to themselves, and they're doing digital marketing services and stuff too. If you wanted to go and poach all of their clients, because this is basically, that these people are spending on SEO, or they at least have in the past, because even if they stop using them, they'll probably leave the backlink because they don't know what they're doing. You could go find the footprint for an SEO agency, and then you could go search that, and then they probably now about a shitload of clients that are willing to invest money in their digital marketing. And so that's who you could target for digital marketing quite easily. So to find the footprint, search Google, and then just go after their clients. Because at least then that they are willing to invest, they see the value in digital marketing. Finding other people's leads lists. So this is where we get a little bit hacky. So people can be a little bit silly about what they leave online. So for example, if I'm searching for plumbers, I didn't actually need to put the quotations, but I did. It's just habit. Going file type XLS, but you could go file type XLS or CSV. it's going to do this, CSV is quite common for leads. And I put at gmail.com because, if it contains a Gmail, it probably contains leads. And so I'll show you this exact example. Here we go. I've got all these. See how it says XLS? Like these are all spreadsheets, right? And here's one of them. What do you know? I now have a shitload of plumbing leads. Got all their details. Didn't need to do my homework. I literally just grabbed somebody else's lead list. So if I wanted to go sell plumbers a heap of websites, digital marketing, anything like that, I now have myself a massive ass list. So anybody who wants to go do that, this works for pretty much any niche. And people are silly enough to put this stuff online. And so think outside the box too. So, I'm teaching you a tool right now, but you can use it in a lot of different ways. If you put in URL drive.google.com, you're going to get all people's Google Drives that they've shared and made public. I'm just teaching you the tool, and then you've got to really think how this would apply. But, people are leaving lead lists everywhere. So that one's pretty cool. Some people just leave their leads totally unprotected too. Here's an example of one that I found, Best Way Roofing Lead Tracker. And so it's literally, we've got the age of their roof, we've got like all this stuff, they've got appointments and all that, but they just literally left it unprotected. So I did in URL, and then I just put the standard Google Drive stuff, so drive.google.com/spreadsheet, I think it was. And, this was just one that showed up when I typed in plumbing or something like that. So there's tons of them out there. If you want to just go hunting for people's lead lists and just cold calling them or cold emailing them, you can get a hell of a lot of data. As I say, this is super hacky. It's quite black hat, but it works. Some more examples, and I'm going to include these slides, so don't worry too much. Also, credit where it's due. I'll always give credit, and I did grab these specific ones off this site. If I wanted to find a CSV full of CEO emails, and I did this search, and it came up with like the Fortune 500 CEO email addresses. Somebody had gone to do that. They've gone and done that work. They've left it hanging around on the internet, and what they've left hanging around is your gain, just by using these search operators. So you can find a lot there. I will include all of the slides so you can just grab this stuff yourself. But, if I wanted to search for like other people's proposals, so I can see, what are other people doing like in pay-per-click? What do their proposals look like? I'm going to be looking for like, see this tall line, that means OR. So it's like file types PowerPoint or PDF or doc. And it's got do not distribute, pay-per-click. It's confidential. We're searching for that kind of stuff. And in the title, it's got proposal. You put all that kind of stuff together, and all of a sudden, you're finding other people's proposals that they put out. Now, you could also put a date filter on this and go after proposals which may be currently out there already and might not have been accepted, and you could go and undercut people if you wanted to be a real jerk. Not saying you go do that, but I'm just saying it'll probably work. So let's jump to something else. So that's Google, covered that a lot. Let's talk about LinkedIn, because LinkedIn uses Boolean searches as well. A lot of platforms do, and you can get a lot further with your searching ability and finding qualified leads if you do combine some of this stuff. So as you can see, it's very similar to Google, but they're using stuff a little bit more explicitly. So instead of the really tall line, they say or, and you do and, not, and you can use parentheses. So I'll show you how I use it. So here's an example. I want to target people working in human resources, like recruiters, hiring managers, but I want to exclude their assistants. So quite often a problem when you're searching LinkedIn, if you're using Sales Navigator or without it, if you search for a job title, you're going to get their assistants and all that kind of junk. And if you're scraping lists using a scraping tool, which I'll get to in a second, you don't want to be paying for those shitty leads for all their assistants. You just want the actual person. So, this LinkedIn example, it's like recruiter or human resources, not something else. And I'm getting these human resources people. Combine them for better results. So, in LinkedIn, like if you use Sales Navigator, it's just like the advanced version of LinkedIn for searching. It's paid. I think they've got a trial though. And you can use the filters with Boolean strings. So what I mean here is, if I'm building out a search, I could be searching for human resources, but heaps of people are going to say they're in that, and then they're not really. So we'll still do our Boolean because we want to exclude all their assistants and all that stuff. I'll do my company size. I'll do, I could do the industry, like all this stuff, and I can put the Boolean here. It'll just show up here as a key, but it'll be really long if you start combining a heap of stuff. But that's how you get really good results, because you're basically weeding out all the leads you don't want. So an example for finding all the HR managers at large companies. So I build my search and I give it some filters. So location, company size over 500 employees. I do a Boolean search for the keyword. So it does have job function, but it's just so broad. So I've done this a lot and it's just really broad. So use keywords so you're getting rid of assistants and all that. I would search and then I would look for leads that you don't want. So it's not just going to be assistants, because you're going to refine your Boolean search and you're just going to add all these negatives. So you're going to add the following as not assistant or EA or PA, because a lot of people put EA as in executive assistant or PA, personal assistant. And so once you do a search, you're going to find all the shitty data that's in there that you don't want, and you just remove it using these nots. Then what I would use is scrap.io, and it's just spelled out there, SKRAPPIO. You're going to scrape the list using that. And all this does is it goes profile to profile and it just grabs you their work email addresses. And so it's reasonably accurate, especially with big organizations, and you're going to have a really good set of leads to cold email if you're going to use something like that. Or you can build a Facebook custom audience. Now, if you're going to build a Facebook custom audience, I'd recommend getting their personal email addresses. You'll have a much higher match rate. So, Scrap's great for after you get your search right, you get this Scrap Chrome extension, you get some credits. It doesn't cost too much. But if you want their personal email addresses, use DuckSoup. And so I do have a hack earlier on about that, I think I called it Ultimate Stalker, or it might have been another one. But I do have a hack dedicated to how to use that. But look, comment below if you have any issues at all. I'm more than happy to guide you and help you how to use this. So that's how I use LinkedIn. Let's talk about Twitter. And sorry if I'm going a little bit fast, guys. I've noticed my hacks are getting really long. It's a lot to consume. And so I'm realizing some stuff I'm just going to go a little bit faster over it and give you the slides, because there's no point me, for example, reading out all of these search operators. You're going to be able to work out exactly what they do. But it's kind of like we've got all this stuff so we can combine them much like we would with Google or LinkedIn. But the really interesting ones are the from and to. So what I think is really powerful, and this is what I've used before, is the to operator. So if somebody has sent something, tweeted something to TechCrunch, they're in my industry. If I'm a startup, for example. So look at the big players and then look at who's tweeting to them. And so what I'll do is I'll use TweetAttacks Pro. Now there's a few versions of this. It's got a $7 trial, but I think you can actually get the software a lifetime access for the basic version for $47 US. And so what it does, it'll follow, unfollow. It'll follow someone, and if they don't follow you back within a certain amount of time, it automatically unfollows them. It's great for that, and it auto messages. But here's the thing: a lot of people just go kind of nuts, and they'll just do it for a hashtag or a keyword or something like that. They're not really hyper targeted, in my opinion. What I would be doing instead is I'll be going, look, I've got a specific goal I'm trying to achieve here, and I'd use the Boolean operators to make sure I'm getting the exact right person so that I can send a really targeted message to them. So for an example, as a lot of you know, I own part of a messaging app, and I was part of the founding team there. So when we launched, really easy for us to just go to TechCrunch and anyone who mentioned messaging app. And then we'll follow them and follow them up with a message. And so it's just that easy. So you literally, it's just going to get us a list of anybody who tweeted to TechCrunch and something about a messaging app. And as if that's not our perfect audience, that's the people who, they're actively talking about messaging apps. That's the exact people that we want to talk to for a launch. So this could apply in totally different industries. It's just up to your imagination. And I know today is quite technical, and I'm just kind of showing you the framework of how I do this. But hopefully you've got some value from this, and you can think about how to use it in your business. I'd love any questions in the comments, and also just if anybody has any ideas or questions or anything, just any feedback about how they use this one or they may use this one. I'm here to help, and I know there's some other guys in the group that are using this kind of stuff pretty successfully that I've filled in on this before, and they kind of said, shit, that should be a hack. And I was like, yeah, I'll wait till I can really think about it a little bit more how I'd use it in different industries, and I hope I've given you enough of an overview. Anyway, guys, that's the hack of the week, and we will talk soon.